Hi again, everyone. This is Jerry Serino of From the Median podcast. Thank you, as always, for listening and for connecting on all the social media. Just go to Cleveland Right to Life, and you will be able to follow us there. Please subscribe on all the different podcast apps. And anytime you want to connect with us, see old episodes, or just learn more about this show, please go to fromthemedian.org. If you're an avid listener, you see that I do find a lot of people who are influencers and are using social media for good, right? I always say I have a love-hate relationship with social media, to be honest, but there is really a lot of good that we can use it for. And my guest today is Anna Munley, and I highly encourage you to follow her on social media. She does a lot of, she's considered a Catholic content creator, is doing really great things. And I discovered that not only do I follow her, but my son follows her as well. So, Anna, thanks for coming on.
Oh no, thank you so much for having me. I love to get the opportunity to speak with other people who are also doing such good work. And so, right back at you. The work you're doing it's really invaluable. So yeah, it's an honor to be here.
Yeah, so my pleasure. And so let's start a little bit. Let's talk about what you're doing. So you do a lot of you post videos on talking about various Catholic topics and the like, and just I guess overall Christian themed discussions. How did you get started on taking that step of saying I'm going to put myself out there and talk about things online?
Well, it's interesting. I have what I like to call a two-part reversion. The first part I attribute to my husband, who he reverted back. We're both cradle Catholics. And after we got married, he was doing all the Catholic things, if you will, the holy hour, praying the rosary, Mass every Sunday. And I slowly started to also partake in these things. I saw some value. I saw how he was changing as a husband and just as a man in general. And so I started that back. And then I hit infertility was really the second part of my reversion. So when I kind of came across that struggle and we were trying to grow our family with no success, that's when I really found my own faith within the faith that he kind of led me to. But through my reversion back, I went to Catholic school all throughout high school. So 12 years of Catholic school. And I knew the basic big pillars, we're Catholic. Christ died on the cross, rose again. We love Mary. And that's pretty much it. I didn't see that I didn't realize that there was such a wide gap, such a difference between Protestant and Baptist and Catholic and all of these denominations, all these different kind of sects of Christianity. And so as I reverted back, I started to see a lot of chatter online. I wasn't posting anything online, but I started to see a lot of chatter of, wait, why are they saying this? Is that what Catholics do believe? And I just did my own research. And through my own research, I really felt that not that I went through a disservice, not that my Catholic upbringing or Catholic school didn't teach me all the right things, but I didn't retain any of it. So
Hmm.
no one to really blame but myself, really. But I just realized there's such a gap in the knowledge from what Catholics know versus what we should know and what can really help us in our faith. And I just started posting about it. I started posting on TikTok specifically. I'm 37, and TikTok kind of boomed in during
Yeah.
COVID, and it was the younger generation who's kind of leading that. But I posted a video on there just about you don't need another medication. You just need to go read the Bible, something to that effect.
Hmm.
Uh, and the video was taken down, and I felt silenced. And I hate to say it, but my intentions with my online content started out of kind of that anger of, wait, why was my video taken down? But I see a lot
Hmm.
of things that are not what I would consider to be good things, good
Yeah.
videos. So I made a new account and I was committed every single day. I'm going to post something about my faith because they're trying to silence me. I felt like a victim, but
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so that's how it started like that. And then slowly I realized, wait, all the things that I didn't know, other people also don't really know much. And at first I thought it was just me. Like, oh, I didn't pay enough attention or, oh, whatever. But then I realized, no, there is a lack there of true, what do you call it? Like formation.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
that's that's kind of how it all started.
Yeah. Well, I love it. Whether it's your example of why you got involved. I talk to people all the time who what happened during COVID, whether it was with lockdowns or masks or vaccine or what they were teaching in schools and all that stuff, really upset a lot of people and opened people's eyes to a lot of things. I had YouTube channels suspended and taken off for the same type of things, just simply talking about something.
Mhm.
And it's so many censorships. It was incredible. So I hear you on that big time. Now it looks like from your videos, are you in your bedroom? Like where do you do these videos? I was curious. Like it looks like you're sitting on the floor or something, but maybe what's your setup like?
No, it's interesting. I actually started in my car because that was really the only place with two kids. My husband works remote from home. We have a dog. There was just never a quiet moment. So I would just
Hmm.
say, I'm going to the car. I do my little video. And then just over time, I wanted to do long form content. So I wanted to go on YouTube as well. And so, yeah, I'm in my bedroom now. I'm actually sitting at my desk. I also work remote from home. Um, and yeah, I have a standing desk, and
Okay.
I have these like little things that are
Yep.
attached to my desk, my for my camera and my microphone, and that's it. But
You
I'm
just
sitting
use
on a
that.
chair.
Are you? Okay. Okay. Yeah, I know. I mean, with a lot of people, think like there's so much production that goes into podcasts and
Mm,
it's like you're just sitting from home or you're just sitting, you have some thoughts and you bring them forward.
yeah.
This show is not a specifically a Catholic show, although I think most listeners are probably Catholic. I am certainly. So we're not here to promote conversions per se. Although I would personally love it. I think everyone should be Catholic. But I want to ask you about the issues that you had in your reversion, right? Because I would say I wouldn't describe myself as having reversion or anything, but there was also a lot to your point. I didn't understand. I'm sure I
Mhm.
was taught. I just wasn't listening, right?
Yes.
So, were there areas in which you struggled with when you were kind of coming back?
Yeah, I would say that I really realized I call it the devil's favorite lie, which is that I'm a good enough person. That's kind of how I lived my life. I fell away from the church big time, and I was living with knowledge of God, and that was pretty much it. I didn't pray, I didn't go to church, but I didn't live my life in any way other than for myself. And so when I reverted, I really realized, no, wait, you're a good enough person, sure, if you compare yourself to Bobby down the street. But when
Mhm.
you compare yourself to Christ in any way on any caliber, you realize your shortcomings. And
Yeah.
so that was one of the hardest kind of things to get over, is that, wait a minute, I may have been a good person. I still consider myself to be a good person, but that doesn't mean that's it. That's where it ends. That doesn't mean that I'm making the best choices for myself. And so when I reverted back, the teaching wise, necessarily, I didn't really have any with any beliefs or anything like that. It was really more so this type of sacrificial approach to my life is was the biggest shift for me. I didn't love going to mass. I found it to be a little boring. I found it to be unfulfilling.
Mhm.
But over time, I found the more I read about it and the more that I really understood, well, the mass is a form of sacrifice, it's a form of worship. It's not for me to feel good, it's not for me to get anything out of it. It's for me to give 1 hour minimum to Jesus in the way that he intends to be worshiped. And so I can be in union with him, so I can be forgiven of sin, so I can participate in this, it's really heaven on earth type thing. And so I think that was the biggest shift, and the biggest thing that I had difficulty with was things from my old life, reality TV, cursing, gossip, these conversations that I was having that weren't necessarily harmful to, they were never intended to be harmful, but I had to reevaluate not only my friendships, but the things that I was putting time and energy into and
Mhm.
that were forming my soul. I had trouble with letting those things go. And fast forward 5, 6 years, now I see those things, and a TV show, let's say music, whatever it is, conversations with old friends, those can be those can be enjoyable. I still enjoy the person and that connection, but now I feel this sense of this doesn't glorify God. It doesn't glorify someone that I'm talking about. And so that shift in my mind, I think, was the hardest and longest thing that it took me, or the longest thing that
Mhm.
really it was challenging for me. Um,
Yeah.
and it's still an everyday progress. I'm by no means like where I want to
No,
be,
yeah,
but
nobody is. I hear you. It's you're bombarded every single day with
mhm.
sort of temptations and with the difficulties of life, and it's easy to get down. Did you did you find yourself listening to or reading certain apologetics, certain people, certain books? Is there something where that you got your information from or learned when you had questions?
Yeah, I would say Ascension was my first one. Father Mike Schmitz, I remember him specifically, a video he made about the Mass is what
Mhm.
kind of made it click that, wait, the Mass has nothing to do with how I'm feeling about it or what I get out of it. And then I love to listen to audiobooks, Why We're Catholic, Scott Hahn, Trent Horn, Matt Fradd, these kind of like heavy hitters in the space who they are so much beyond creators.
Mhm.
They've built these amazing platforms to all sorts of things, apologetics, explanations. They have guests, all these things that just really helped form my knowledge. So all of the gaps that I was missing, they kind of filled in. And
Yeah.
then my husband, he's a really big reader. So he got a lot of Bishop Barron's stuff that we read. And so yeah, it's when I find it very intimidating when someone is inquiring about Catholicism or just Christianity in general, and people say, "Oh, just read like early church fathers or read, whatever." And it's like, who? Like, where do I
Mhm.
find that information? And so to be able to have people who are talking about it and pointing you in the right direction, I think is really beneficial and helpful for my own reversion back.
Yeah, yeah, all those people you mentioned are great too. I've same thing. I've listened to. They're on YouTube. They're their own channels, podcasts. Joe Heschmeyer's great. I came
Oh
across.
yeah.
Yeah, isn't he's really good. And Patrick Madrid is kind of old
Mhm.
school, but he's
Yeah.
excellent. And I came across this guy. His name is Suwan. Do you know who he is? Suwan Suna, I think it is.
I don't think so.
He's really, really good. He's done debates. I've listened to debates, and he's really, really good. He's young. Um, yeah, Suan is his first name,
Okay.
and Suna or Sonna. I could send it to you. But anyways, yeah,
Yeah.
there's so many great ones out there that are so knowledgeable. I always think like if
Mhm.
anyone ever asked me to debate, I would be like, I can't because it wouldn't be right because I wouldn't have all the books and chapters and verses and the ability the way they do. It is
Yeah.
amazing. So this show is obviously sponsored by and supported by Cleveland Right to Life. So this is a show about life. That's our main
Mhm.
topic, and pro-life, and that encompasses a lot of things, not just
Mhm.
abortion, of course. You talk on this is something you talk about is you want more children,
Mhm.
right? And so that
Yes.
is a very pro-life stance to have. And you're not saying no more kids, I can't do it, we don't have enough money, what are we gonna how are we gonna you want more children. Tell me about
Yes.
those that perspective and why children life is so important and valuable.
So I would say that I personally have a unique emotional attachment to it. Obviously, going through infertility, wanting to grow my family is one piece of it, but I was adopted. When I was 7 days old, I was
Mm.
adopted. I don't know much about my birth parents, but they chose life. So if they had not, for whatever their circumstances were, what I do know is that it wasn't a traditional family. So I don't believe that my birth father and birth mother were married and, anything like that. Um, they were from Syria. So I was born in Venezuela. So they traveled from Syria to Venezuela, and that's where I was born. And then I was adopted when I was just a week old by my parents. And so for me, when we talk about pro-life, I always love the term womb to tomb, because it's not just the abortion topic. It's so much more than that, and it lasts throughout the duration of your natural life. And I think something that is so important is to, yes, fight the abortion movement and the abortion causes, because that's where life begins, but also that there are so many Christians worldwide who want to fight for the dignity of life all the way through until its natural death. And so for me, I'm especially tied to adoption and choosing life in that regard. But I've seen it throughout my life how impactful these conversations can be, not just when it comes to abortion and the pro-life movement as a whole, but just a fight for life, if you will.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's something that is coming back. We've seen all of the reports of Gen Z and millennials kind of coming back to tradition and all of these things. And I think that's so wonderful. But there's also something to be said that, once you come back, that's kind of when the work begins. It's not
Hmm.
the finish line. Um, so, yeah, but through my own infertility journey, it's been specifically or especially challenging. We live in a time where IVF, surrogacy,
Hmm.
all of these things, they're right at my fingertips. If I would just bend my morals or my beliefs just a smidge, I could have, the big, large family that I have. And then I could, it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. That line always kind of gets in my head. Because then I could raise 10 more little Catholics. Like,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
amazing gift that would be. But then I always go back to the natural law, the natural order of life, and how important it is for God's design that we try our best to kind of stick to it, because ultimately God knows what is best for us. He will fulfill your heart's desires. And that doesn't mean the desires you want. So that could mean that I don't have any more children. That could be God's desires, because I don't see the bigger picture yet. And so it's very hard. But yeah, I think it's incredibly important to talk about pro-life from beginning to end, not
Yeah.
just anti-abortion.
Yeah, yeah, and you're bringing up IVF. I mean, that's a big topic because I know
Mhm.
that's an area I disagree with the current administration on, although
Me
I
too.
like them on other things. And I
Mhm.
understand, to your point, there is a perspective of, hey, why wouldn't we want more babies, right? I get that,
Yeah.
but it's deeper than that, and I think we do have to stick to our morals on that and
Mhm.
explain to people why we have the belief we have and that
Yeah.
they're just incorrect. So I didn't know the story of you being adopted. So do you know your ethnicity? So it sounds like you're Syrian, and do you know what else?
I did a 23andMe because I'm a little bit of a hypochondriac, so I wanted the health background. So I
Hmm.
did a 23andMe, and it gave me all of that information, and it also let me know that when I received it back, it said 100% Syrian. So that's really all the information I
That's
have.
it. Yeah.
It gave me like Lebanon, Syria, that area, and it was just like green, just 100% from there. So,
Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. And
yeah.
are you open to talking about your adopted family and the influence they had on you
Oh,
being
yeah.
adopted?
I mean, my husband and I are actually in the process of adopting ourselves,
Okay.
in the effort to grow our family. And I think it's such a gift. My parents who adopted me, they they gave me life in that sense. Who knows where I would be, but it was it's because of them that I grew up in a Catholic family, that I went to a Catholic school. And I believe more so in nurture over nature. I'm
Mhm.
obviously biased because, the only people that I really share DNA with are my two children.
Mhm.
So I'm not, related to my parents and my sister in the same way, but I don't feel any different than, in how I feel about them and how I love them and how impactful they've been in my life. And, you can maybe tell that there's a little bit of a difference. My parents are shorter, my sister's shorter, I'm taller, I'm 5'7". But other than that, they've been so impactful in just their overall approach to parenting. They never treated me any differently.
Yeah.
And I remember that, and this is something that I'll plan to do if I'm ever lucky enough to be able to adopt. But my mom, she created this book, and it was about these two bears who were wanting a little baby bear, and they found a little baby bear in the forest, and she drew it, she illustrated it, she did all of it, and she would read that book to me. And she was, every time there'd be the little baby cub, the little baby bear out in the woods, she'd always say, "That was you. That's how mommy and daddy found you." And so I've always known that I was adopted. There was never a single moment where it was a conversation or anything. And I really, to their credit, it's really helped me understand that I was adopted, how I kind
Mhm.
of came to be a part of the family, and it never felt like I was any different. So yeah, I don't know anything about my birth parents, and people often ask, "Do you want to?" And I if it happens, great, but I have no hole in my heart to fill, no
Mhm.
real curiosity. I wouldn't mind seeing a picture of what they looked like,
Yeah.
but other than that, yeah, I'm more than content.
Yeah. Right. No, I appreciate how you said that first and foremost they chose life, right? Because you don't know their circumstance
Mhm.
when you were adopted and what was going on. That might be curious to know, but
Yeah.
regardless, they gave life,
Mhm.
and here you are. So and we're, obviously that's fantastic, right? We're happy you're alive, and we're happy you're here, and two kids, and a potential adoption. And so, can I ask how you met your husband?
Yeah, we met just online, in
Okay.
2017, I want to say. It was interesting. We matched on a couple of those online dating,
Yeah.
whatever, but we
Mm.
never actually made any plans. He kept seeing, I had previously been married, went through a divorce, and in some of my pictures, I had my son in the picture, and he kept seeing that I was a single mom, and he was a little, I don't know, kids,
Mhm.
he was a like kind of forever bachelor. So yeah, we kept matching, and then nothing would ever come of it. And then we just saw each other out one night when we were out with friends, and really the rest is history. And we both grew up in Catholic homes, but neither of us were practicing. And it is by the grace of God that we both came back to the faith in the manner that we have. And really, I credit him. I think it's so important to as a woman, find a man who will lead. And he really led me and our kids back to the faith. So I'm literally eternally grateful. I actually get emails from listeners who listen to my podcast or my YouTube videos or my
Mhm.
videos in general, and who maybe I've answered some questions or maybe filled in some gaps that they had. And because of that, they've maybe joined OCIA, or they've, came back to their faith. So I get emails like that. It's actually a blessing. It's pretty frequently, a couple times a month. And every time, I always read them to my husband, and he pats himself on the back. He's like, I don't, bring people back, but you bring people back, and I brought you back. So
Yeah.
it's
So
like
by yeah,
by proxy here.
yeah,
But
he's taking credit. All right, we'll give him
yeah,
some credit.
I'll
Well,
give him credit.
Anna, thank you so much for coming on. I'd love for you to just share with everybody how they can find you and connect with you on social media.
Yeah, of course. So my first name, Anna, last name, Munley. That's pretty much where you can find me. Instagram and YouTube, I post regularly on those two. I'm also on TikTok and Facebook. So Anna Munley, that's pretty much it. But I try and do long form content every day, and then the short form content usually Monday through Friday. that's what I can handle at the moment. So
Yes, I hear you. I get it. Well, Anna Munley, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate you being here and for sharing your story, and certainly appreciate what you do as well. So, Anna, thank you.
likewise. Thank
Yeah,
you so much.
absolutely.
It's an honor.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank all of you for listening to this episode of From the Median podcast. We will see you next time.